Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome to the channel. My name is Michelle Lima and I hope that you're going to enjoy all the personal development content that comes onto this channel. So as you can see by the title of the video below, this topic has ruined a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships. So it is important for us to have our intentions clear when we are making friends and when we are engaging daily with our friends. But one of the most important things I want you to know proceeding into this video is that we are not talking about the friends that are just there, they never support you, you never talk to them and they're jealous of you. No, we are talking about the friends that you have in your life that are really great friends, but you've sometimes seldom wondered or secretly become upset because they're not sharing your work and they're not sharing your content. So let's start off with a few examples. So let's say that you are new in the content creating game and you are friends with somebody who is a huge content creator who basically has thousands or rather millions of followers, and they are basically doing something that is unrelated to what you want to do or something that you do. And example number two would be that let's say you started a cake baking company and you maybe are expecting your friends to spread the word and tell it out. However, you've got a friend who's possibly an influencer and has thousands of followers that curates content on personal wellness and fitness. These two examples should really, first of all, make us understand or make us really start asking ourselves questions like, how does what I do align with my friend, so that you can be able to manage your expectations? This opens up the reality of that sometimes, if not at most times, your friends are not always your target market. I'm going to repeat that. Sometimes your friends are not your target market. So guys, let's understand that this is not the same as your friends sharing your work every now and then and telling people what you do. This is based on the expectation or you expecting that just because your friend is famous, your friend has to automatically share your work. Now let me give you another example, then we can dive deep into the topic. Suppose you are looking for a job and you've got references on your CV. One of the biggest things that we all know that is pretty obvious is your potential employer does not want you to reference your best friend, mainly because your best friend is probably going to say the most nicest things about you. They won't tell the truth about you because chances are they've never worked with you, and even if they did, because they are your friend, they have your best interest at heart. Now if we are expecting our friends to be of great support, in the sense that you want your friends to be punting every single thing that you do, you need to start asking yourself, how credible are you looking when somebody that truly knows you is punting the work that you do? This is also the same as if you know on social media that two people are best friends and they're constantly punting each other's content, at some point you will start doubting the legitimacy and the authenticity of whatever is being punted, because there's always at the back of people's minds that when something is over punted and something is overdone, there must be a reason why, and sometimes that doesn't breed authenticity, especially when you know that these people are really best friends. And I mean, suppose you are that client who's looking to buy from somebody and you're looking for reviews. You're not gonna go look for reviews from someone's best friend, because I mean guys, the best friend will basically have the best things to say about their friends, but you possibly want a review from somebody who's had an experience with their services, with their product and with their content, and that is not related to them, that will be able to give you an honest opinion on how they worked with them, how their relationship was, and how they received an experience, that product, service, or whatever it is that your friend or that you are trying to sell. So this basically becomes a call for you to grow your own audience and work on what you need to work on, and not even all by yourself, but with the understanding that your friends might not be your biggest audience and your friends' audience might not be the audience that you want, and that having famous friends will not always make you famous. There is really a few people in the world that have managed to be famous by association, because you're friends with somebody that's famous and you think automatically those million followers are going to follow you and you're going to end up having a million followers. It hardly ever works like that, and you need to be able to put in the hours, you need to be able to put in the time, you need to be able to really wanting to grow your audience all by yourself and really start building up an authentic audience that is interested in you as a person, that is interested in what you have to offer and your heart and what you put into your work. And honestly guys, it is also very unfair for you to expect that just because your friend has the numbers, they should just basically transfer those numbers to you, considering the fact that your friend has worked so hard to get those numbers. You know, your friend has invested money, time, etc. to get those numbers, and you just expect that just because of your association in with them, you're automatically going to ride with that. Imagine if you were the big brand and you wanted your brand to have a certain look, a certain feel. I mean, we live in a world of aesthetics and all of that. Imagine if you were that big brand and your friend is constantly expecting or pressurizing you to put their brand on within you trying to do the work that you do. You know what I mean? It really wouldn't make sense. And one thing you also need to realize is that people can smell a rat from far. People can smell and people can see when something is not being done based on authenticity or based on real experience. If you have a product, if your friend is just punting it because they are your friend, chances are their caption is even going to be off, because one of the things is that product or whatever it is you're offering doesn't directly impact you. So as time goes on, people will catch up that, no, wait a minute, this person's just punting this person because they're good friends and it's really not much about the product. And what you basically doing, if you are that big brand that is punting this friend of yours that's trying to get up, over punting them, and you are actually devaluing your friend's product, service, business, content, or whatever it is, because what you're doing is you're just saying, guys, get on it because this person is my friend. But imagine, and just imagine, if you worked on your craft as a person and you worked on whatever it is that you want to do and you generated, even if it's 10, 20, 100, 2,000 of that audience that are diehards and that really understand and that love what you have to offer. Imagine what that would do for your business. There is such a huge difference between your friends just talking about it because they're your friend and they love you versus a client that has had an amazing experience and that's going to rave about it. And what we need to do is we need to cultivate those big clients. We need to cultivate those big relationships, those authentic people within our social media platforms, within our businesses that would be able to attest to us without having any relationship with us, but they'd be able to say, listen, I worked with this person, I worked with them, and I know that they will deliver, and as opposed to your friend saying that. And the biggest analogy to actually substantiate this that a lot of people normally use is the fact that you don't see big premium car brands after every commercial break when you're watching TV. They have mastered who their audiences are, and they have started attracting their audiences the way that they know their audiences will respond. So for instance, if you are baking cakes, it is really unfair for you to expect your friend who is in fitness and in wellness to be punting your cakes to the people just because they're your friends. Do you understand what you're doing? You are not respecting your friend's brand. You're not respecting the work that your friend has put into whatever it is that they're doing, and you basically are thinking that just because they are your friends, they really just need to punt whatever it is that you need to do. So if you are the big brand friend, don't you think that it would be so beneficial for you instead to be sitting down with your friends and say, listen, this is how I managed to do it, and sharing the lessons that got you to where you are, connecting them privately to the people that got you where you are, connecting them privately to clients, connecting them privately to people, agencies, business partners, whatever the case is, as opposed to just punting them on your social media platforms without any authentic intention and without any real experiences. Now, if you turn the wheel sideways, you realize that sometimes the most beneficial thing is our friends that are in social media platforms. We can actually get mutual beneficial relationships if we were willing to really learn the groundwork. If we are really willing to sit down with them and say, dude, you've got 1 million followers. How did you get there? You've got 10,000, 20,000, whatever the case is. How did you get there? What are the things that you applied that I can also put? Now, that's a different mindset in you saying, I want to learn, I want to become better, and as my friend, I'm seeking help, as opposed to expecting them to just punt on your content, expecting them to talk about you, expecting them to do this. Those are unrealistic expectations, and that is losing respect for what your friend does. Now, if we turned our friendships to that, because there is more longevity in that. There is no longevity in someone punting your followers and you get 10 extra followers that might unfollow you at the end of the day because you're not giving value, as opposed to someone teaching you how they did it, teaching you how you can do it better, teaching you what apps you could probably use to make your Instagram or whatever it is a lot more better, teaching you the books that they read and sharing that with you, and really giving you information and knowledge that can help you expand your brand to the best of its ability, that can actually help you expand yourself. Because chances are, guys, you can't actually do it the way that someone else has done it. Yes, you can only learn from them and you can grab certain lessons, but it is unfair to expect that the way that it's happened to them and those followers and whatever the case is, people follow certain people for certain reasons. And that is why just because they followed you, they're not going to follow, just because they followed them, they're not going to follow you because you are the friend. People really follow the people that they like, and you need to make yourself likable based on the things that you're bringing in. That's why it is important for you to develop your own audience, for people people to have a genuine relationship with you, for people to relate with you separately without your friend being there, separately without anyone knowing who are your friends in the industry, separately with just you saying, this is what I do, and this is how great I want to do it, and this is how much effort I put into it. People are so attracted to awesome and powerful energy, and people will cling on to that, and the followers will come, the sales will come, everything will happen the way that you want it to happen if you just plan and make sure that the important thing that you need to do is focus on yourself, as opposed to having unrealistic expectations with your friends. And guys, it is so important to also realize that when something is over punted without the right intention, it looks dodgy and it gets devalued. If you've seen this a lot, when your friend will put a post about you or a post about what you did, because they probably even haven't had your cakes, it's going to be so hard to be like, oh, this is so yummy and I really enjoyed this. Yes, they'll get away with it the first time, but it might not happen the second time. But if you get a client that has really enjoyed the service that you're offering, they really enjoyed your cakes, for instance, they are going to rave and they're going to talk about how they're not so sweet, and they're going to give more detail that is most likely to entice the person that is probably going to buy from you, as opposed to the friend that you keep nagging and that you keep upset. So it is important that we stop getting secretly upset at our friends, we stop bad mouthing other people, we stop talking about how this person doesn't support you, this person doesn't support you, and you really start aligning the fact that what is true support in our fields that we are in. And this differs, guys, from different fields to different fields, different industries. It is really very different, but you need to start understanding that support comes in so many ways than just being punted. And as a friend, and as people that we love, and as people that we have in our lives, we need to start requiring, asking, and yearning for longevity support, not just momentary. And sometimes riding on someone else's numbers is not a form of support. It's actually you being selfish, right? It is not you actually authentically wanting to learn. And that is really something important to remember, that if you still want to create and if you still want to maintain the value that you believe you have, you need to be willing to authentically grow your brand the way that pleases you, the way that is easier for you, the way that people can just relate with you personally without anyone else being in the mix. So with all of this said, what is our call to action? Here's 4 things. Number 1, work on your craft. Nothing beats you perfecting and excelling at what you are doing. Work on yourself. Even if you've got 2 followers, even if you've got 1 client, 2 clients, whatever the case is, work on your craft, and do not solely depend on the fact that my friends have famous numbers, so therefore my friends' numbers will come to me and then I will have the numbers and I'll make the money, I'll do the sale, whatever the case is. Work on it by yourself. Develop the product, develop the YouTube channel, develop the social media platform, and really just put in you as a substance. Because guys, the honest truth is, even if your friend punted you, if you do not have substance, if you do not have excellence, if whatever it is you're working on is not of great value to even other people or to even your friend, chances are it is not even going to be great value to the number. So you've seen this a lot, where a friend will try to punt the other friend, and even if the other friend has millions of followers, this one never gets the followers, mainly because people are not relating, people are not dumb, people are not just going to click because someone said so. People think, people do some research sometimes, and this is a study I actually read a few days ago, that sometimes people actually go through your profile so many times before they even follow you. People go through your business so many times before they even buy from you. People hear about you multiple times before they even start to just initiate a relationship with you. So you need to understand that the biggest winning formula is you working on your craft, and you working on whatever service, product, whatever it is you have to provide, so that you can attract an authentic audience and authentic people that will be able to rave about you unapologetically. Number 2, have realistic and considerate expectations about your friend. I said this in the beginning of the video. It is very important for us to really understand what our friends are for, and to really have genuine expectations, and sometimes not even have expectations that are based on, because you're my friend, you do this, but what does that friendship mean to you? Evaluate that and really sit down with your friends, but have meaningful and considerate expectations with your homies. Number 3, understand that people move with people that are moving, and sometimes when you start something, people are literally sitting back just to see how far you're going to go with it, just to see how well you're going to do with it before they can start punting you, before they can start telling people about you. So that is something you also need to start understanding, in a sense that whatever it is you're doing, people are always watching. And even if it's that friend that has millions of followers, and even if it's your customers, whatever the case is, as long as you are perfect at it, you will realize that people will start being attracted to what you're doing, and people will start wanting to buy from you. So keep moving, and as you move, you will attract to yourself people that are willing to move with you. You will attract to yourself people that are interested in what you are doing. Number 4 is respect your friends' craft and your friends' work. This is so important, and I think sometimes we can be so selfish as people when we impose unrealistic expectations on the people in our lives and in our friends, and we think that just because they are, therefore I am. And it is not fair. You need to respect what your friend is trying to do. Respect your friend's brand. Respect the fact that they are building this thing. Respect the fact that they've been trying to build this thing for years and it's finally come together. Respect the fact that they also want a mutual beneficial relationship with you as well. But respect the fact that within their brand, they are a professional and they can't just be toiling and punting you all the time. But it would be so much easier for them to do that when you are putting in all your work and you're really giving value to people. It's so much easier to ultimately speak about someone that you are proud of, that you've seen do the work without nagging, without ridiculous expectations or whatever the case is. So really, let's start respecting our friends. And that is why I named this video, Your Friends Do Not Owe You Any Support, because ultimately they don't. Your friends will support you when they want to. Your friends will support irregardless what the relationship is like. Your friends will support you when they see the value that you're bringing in to whatever market, and the effort and the consistency and the will that you're willing to give into every single thing that you touch. With that said, I hope that this video has been super fruitful for you and that we are going to walk out of here with the willingness to cultivate really good relationships without any unrealistic expectations within our friends and within our circles. So if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys next time.